Weird how that works.
Yeah.
It's like the literal pass. It's not even like a timed. It's like
wormhole.
Yeah.
It's like 1986 up there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I keep getting phone calls from myself right before I leave for a trip to Seattle saying, "Don't come up here, it sucks." I'm like, "Shut up, future me. You don't know what you're talking about. Seattle's a nice town."
And afterwards you're like, "No, you're right. He was right."
Oh, I'm too far from the dicks. Screwed up. We're gonna be much farther from Dick's Hamburgers.
Oh no!
This year, you guys.
Shit.
Damn. We still need to go.
We need to go back to that bar.
I don't want to go back to that bar.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I don't want to go back to that bar. That was a nice bar. I mean, it was not a nice bar. It was a good bar.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun bar.
Yeah.
And a great story.
And a fantastic story, but we will never go back to that bar. Especially not you in that shirt. This super tight 17-bit shirt you've got going on.
It's
Really
too tight.
showing off your girlish figure
It's
a bit
too
much.
tight.
The short sleeves, really.
I keep thinking that if I wear it again,
You stretch
like
it
the
out or
stretch,
something?
I think I'm sorry, Jake. I
It's
think
not
it was-
even. It's not even just that the sleeves are so short. It's that they're slanted. They got that like.
There's a lady cut
They
to
got
that shirt.
They got the upward slant. Is it? Maybe it's the women's. Like it really does have like kind of a look.
It's all I had.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna get rid of it. So if you want, I'll upgrade to a medium.
Okay.
I think a medium will probably be fine. So if you want my 17-bit shirt, I'll give it to you.
That's that married life striking early. Got to go up a shirt size all of a sudden. Let's get some more burgers.
Gotta go to Dick's. Jeff,
I played some Guild Wars 2.
What do you think of Guild Wars 2? That just started this weekend in earnest, right?
It's not. I mean, it doesn't officially launch until Tuesday, so they're technically part of their 3-day head start.
But they're saying it's no longer in beta.
Right. This is it. The characters will carry over to the final release of the game. Parts of it seem incredibly well made. I like their business model a lot better than the traditional MMO. That's for sure. But it's just not the game I'm looking for from a Guild Wars 2. I really liked Guild Wars 1. I liked the part where it was not an MMO. And this is an MMO. You know, their class system is different. You know, the kind of the way that they approach what the class abilities are and all that sort of stuff doesn't seem quite as tied to the Trinity as a lot of other games are, which is good. But I think it drops you into the world in some weird, doesn't necessarily explain itself super well when you get started. And I picked a Norn. Okay, so
What's
it's
that the equivalent of?
they look like humans, but they're also humans. So I don't know. I
heard there are plant people in that game.
There's the Char, and there's like some elf-looking dudes. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I didn't see anyone that explicitly looked like they were plant people, but
I want to play a plant first.
yeah. No, the race I chose seems to be very big on animal spirits and stuff like that. So I'm helping bunnies by stealing food and walking really slowly while carrying bags of food and yelling at rabbits so they go away. And for a while, I was feeding bear cubs fish and stuff like that. A lot of just kind of like boring starter area stuff. And then because it's like an MMO, there's like 40 other people running around right there in front of you doing the exact same thing. They do the nice thing of making it so that everyone can pick up a bag of food or like whatever thing you're doing for this objective. Like one person picking it up doesn't make it go away.
You're not waiting for respawns.
Yeah. But it just looks kooky. It's just like all these people everywhere. It's just, kind of looks like an MMO. But you don't pay a monthly fee. If that's what you're looking for, you'll probably really like Guild Wars 2. Parts of it seem super well made. I really like the way that the weapon skills unlock. Like you equip a weapon and you only have like one skill with it. It's like the kind of the auto attack. But then as you use that weapon type more and more, you unlock the rest of the skills. And you see the other skills kind of gradually filling up your bars. Like, okay, now I have 1 and 2. And I use those for a while. Oh, now 3 is starting to fill out. And, eventually get kind of like the whole left side of your skill bar filled with things specific to that weapon type. So then that got me like, oh, well, even though this weapon I have isn't as powerful as the one that I'm using, like I want to unlock all those skills in case I find something later. I want it to be able to, be ready to go. So I'd swap it out for, like a gun. I used a gun for a while, use a bow for a while, and that stuff's all kind of cool. It
At least encourages you to change up your character style.
Totally. And then, as you level up, there are other skills you can unlock for your other slots, stuff that are, is not specific to your weapons. So the skill system feels pretty different from the first game, where you're kind of like swapping out what you're using and a lot of kind of different mechanics there. That definitely does not feel like the first game. They instance off a lot of the story stuff where you're kind of like, you're following my story. And then in addition to that, there are a bunch of world events. So that's where you're finding like 40 people picking up bags of feed and all that sort of stuff. Or, 40 people running around stopping like rampaging minotaurs and stuff like that as they run through the forest and all that. And you'll get... It's like the public quest system in something like Warhammer Online, where just, if you're in that area and you participate, you will get graded on your level of participation. You'll get, like I get gold level of participation, so I get this much XP and this many karma points and this many that, and kind of go on from there. But yeah, I haven't spent a ton of time with it, but it's not really getting hooks into me at all. I don't know. It's a shame. I think parts of it are really well made, but I would have much rather had a sequel to Guild Wars 1 that stuck a little bit closer to what Guild Wars 1 was, which is, very much not an MMO, like almost more of a Diablo, or
the game was a 3D Diablo.
Yeah,
basically.
Where your instance in town, you have your lobby system basically in the towns, team up with people, and then go out on missions. Or you can play it alone and hire dudes, and kind of just lets you kind of take it on how you want.
They do seem well positioned to sweep up a lot of Star Wars players.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think between this and Mists of Pandaria, is that what the next
Pandaria?
Pandaria. That's soon. That's October, right, or sometime soon.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars is in a real bad spot.
Yeah.
I think Guild Wars without their subscription fee. I think you could.
Guild Wars, it's an insanely attractive.
You could get a lot of people. They're like, yeah, this is good enough, and also I'm not paying monthly.
Does it have microtransactions?
It does. I mean, Guild Wars 1 eventually added more and more and more over time. This has some out of the gate, I think.
For what kind of stuff?
Cosmetic stuff.
Okay.
I didn't actually look through the store to see what there was, but it kind of, if it's anything like Guild Wars 1, it's some of it is stuff like character slots. Like you have 5 character slots with Guild Wars 2, and things of that nature, which is fine. I think that maybe the business model for that stuff has changed a little bit to where those are things you more commonly associate with a free-to-play game, and you're still buying the box with this, or I think you can actually buy it digitally, but you are still, there's still a base cost associated with it. But I think as long as the quality is high enough, which people playing the beta seem to really enjoy it, then maybe that's not the end of the world. Maybe that actually works out better because they are able to make a higher quality game out of the gate because they can count on those initial sales. But yeah, it's just not roping me in at all.
I mean, I feel like we're looking for, as people who don't play MMOs on the reg,
and now like I've gone so long without playing them, and I was never interested in this style of MMO, and I just keep making more of this style of MMO. Like, just waiting for the big break.
I feel like we are still looking for lack of a better term, like the next World of Warcraft, as far as that breaking point of this is no longer just for intense weirdos. Like there is
or just people that like very specifically like this style of MMO and are totally okay with buying a new one every 6 months, playing that for a couple of months, moving on to the next one. Like there's clearly an audience for that.
Yeah,
I'm just not part of it.
Yeah,
but that also seems like that's just diminishing returns. Like that is a model that can only last for so long.
And this breaks away from that model. I mean, like the business model is very different. Yeah. I think that really does go a long way.
Almost to the point that it feels like calling it an MMO is doing it a disservice.
Yeah,
that comes with a lot of specific expectations.
But it is that people call Guild Wars 1 an MMO and they're wrong.
Right.
But this very much is
plays like one. Yeah.
Very much is an MMO. So. But I mean, in some spots it does feel like a step forward for the genre, both the business model and some of the mechanics and stuff like that. But to people that haven't necessarily played a lot of Star Wars or kind of kept up with the genre over the years, you're just gonna you'll look at it and just go like, this is just like World of Warcraft. Yeah. Like no, but
incremental changes within the grand scheme of things hasn't made a lot of great.
Yeah, it's not necessarily widening.
Right.
Other than not having a monthly fee, I think that inherently widens it.
But you still have the $60 up front.
Yeah,
which is tough. Which is why it's at least smart that Star Wars is going to the free to play for what, level 1 through 20 or something like
Yeah, I think that's no. I guess you'll be able to play the full class story.
Oh, is it?
In Star Wars, it's just all
Warcraft is 1 to 20.
yeah.
It's free. That's
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. It seems well made. I'll probably stick with it a little bit more just to kind of see. I might just start another character, another class or something, see if I like that starting area better or something like that.
Should hook up with the Giant Bomb Guild.
No.
Which I understand right before this podcast was at 238 members.
They have 2 guilds on Yak's Bend now because there was some issue with Ovites not working or something. Friday night was pretty bumpy. Like as soon as they turned the servers on, it was real up and down. But you know, it seems like it's ironed out already. By Tuesday, it'll probably be messed up again for a little bit as the people who didn't get in on the head start get in. But you know, maybe that'll probably be pretty minimal. I think they seem like they have a decent handle on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2. I don't know. I can't.
You just can't.
I can't care about it.
You never would though.
No.
You know.
No, I just remember seeing it at PAX East, that whenever that was last year, and thinking that there was some interesting promise there. And I played some of the original Guild Wars, but I don't know, an MMO that's free, or you know, doesn't have a monthly subscription like that. If that's the pitch here,
Right.
that's not enough.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it's like. Sure, right, exactly.
I mean, you know,
when it first came out, you're right.
Like,
that
over,
was
over the years, you know, more and more companies have adapted to what ArenaNet did with the first Guild Wars.
I mean, it was
Absolutely.
super progressive at the time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
the
it's
idea
crazy.
of like, you know, now it's common knowledge. Like, yeah, the subscription model is dying for all but like a couple of games.
Right, but when
like,
Guild Wars 1 first came out, it was fucking mind-blowing
Yeah, it was
across
crazy.
the board. Stuff like, you know, just like streaming the game down and having areas download as you're still playing it. Just a lot of
Yeah, that was so crazy.
super cool shit. Just a really light client download that just, you could kind of get in the game really quickly. I remember we had EVDO cards that we were using for like live blogging and fucking E3 press conferences or something stupid like that. And as soon as I got one, I just started playing Guild Wars in the car with it just to kind of see if it would work. Yeah, it totally did. It was a cool game, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to kind of fault them for not revolutionizing a genre or coming out with something super intensely revolutionary like they did with Guild Wars 1. That's, you know, maybe a bit
and
much
also
to
they've
expect,
been working on it forever. And again, a lot of these games have fallen in this trap of being in development for years, and then suddenly the market kind of made this hard shift.
Yeah, but I think the market has made a hard shift in the direction of stuff like Guild Wars.
Yeah, this game
I don't think they suffer because of that. And yeah, I think this game will be totally fine. Yeah.
It'll certainly suffer from less of a drop off than the traditional MMO that says
because there's no cancellation, so there is no drop off.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all those accounts are still technically active,
Quote-unquote
and,
active,
and
yeah.
able to play and all that stuff. So
And they sold gangbusters of all those add-ons for the first Guild Wars.
they did,
So-
yeah, and some of them were really good.
Yeah.
Like they were just boxed expansions, and I want to say like at some point you could buy one of those and not the base game.
I think that was that.
And
ended
because
up
it was like a
being
different
the
starting area, and you could end up playing like the factions area or whatever it was.
that's a really smart idea.
Yeah, it was really just a lot of really cool shit that they've done over time, you know, and you know, a lot of people have adapted a lot of the stuff they've done. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what that game will look like in a few years. You know, what they do to it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, you know, I shouldn't fault Guild Wars 2 for not revolutionizing the world of
Yeah, I mean,
persistent, you know, role-playing games.
yeah, I mean, kind of no one is able to crack that just yet.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But just from the perspective that I'm sitting at here.
Yeah, and from the perspective of someone who's paying a monthly fee to play stuff like that, if they can get that experience but kind of move forward in some interesting ways,
But I wonder, like,
then it's
for the
totally
way
worth it.
for the way like that I see, I guess I have no sense of what percentage of the market this like roaming nomadic fucking MMO audience
Horrible
makes up.
nomadic MMO gangs,
Yeah,
internet hacker gangs.
Yeah, these internet hacker gangs that just, you know, go from one MMO to the next.
We started our guild for the lols.
But you know, these are people that are going and, you know, they buy a game and they run it until the first month that they actually have to pay a subscription. You know, they get their fucking 90 days or whatever.
No one does 90 days. It's all 30.
Dragon Quest X in Japan gives you 20 days.
20
Not even a
days.
full month.
That's
What is
there you
that
go.
game?
That's the true revolution.
What is that game?
I recommend actually the not the most recent 8-4 podcast, but the one before that. They do like a whole hour breaking down that game. It sounds like a rather poor single-player Dragon Quest with some online components. Something more akin to a Guild Wars than